I do want to switch gears then. You mentioned before we started recording the kind of optimism of the market direction with the Dow futures. And
where are we right now?
Yeah, I think you mentioned that we were about...
we started 1,000 points up.
Yeah.
And I bet it'll drop. It's down to 8. What's 991 right now? Whatever. I mean, it's just... Man, that's let's see, 2.4%. Nasdaq's up 3.4%. S&P 500's up 2.6%. A lot of money's being made right now. A lot of money's being made. Will it hold? I don't know, but it's exciting to see the market respond. And I think my feeling, my opinion is that a lot of people in this country don't realize the power of this country and so many regulations and so many focal points or mission statements, whatever, are misguided, and we haven't really opened up this country to its true potential of what it can do.
Right.
We're more concerned about
what we're
other
limiting.
issues.
We've been more concerned about like what we need to limit versus what we need to do.
Yeah, that's one way of thinking it. Trump right now, and one of the reasons why I supported him and still do, is that he is an optimist. He sees the potential of, you get people to get, now this country has really, we have turned heads over the years, but we could turn even more heads in a positive way, and more people are going to want to come here as we, rebuild infrastructure and we rebalance trade and have more and lower costs, more revenue coming in.
And not even just here locally. I can't wait till I can go to the new Trump hotel in Gaza and no, but
Riviera of the Middle East.
Yeah,
God,
yeah. Kick my feet up and watch the missiles getting shot down through the Iron Dome.
And I will say I don't agree with everything he says, What do you honestly think? I'd love to get you guys this is a quick aside.
Yeah.
Do you think he's serious about making Canada the 51st state of this country? Do you think he's actually serious of that?
I don't think it. I think he's serious about getting Canada to realize that they need to step it up as a sovereign nation, or they're going to go into some sort of economic collapse, whether it's bankruptcy or some other formalized version of, collapse, or they could get co-opted into United States. I don't think it would be as the 51st, state. Again, I think we've talked about this. There'll have to be multiple territories. I don't know how many there are in Canada, 5, 6, 7, something like that. So maybe breaking it up just in the same way. Yeah, the provinces.
Yep.
I think it could make sense that way. I don't think it's something worthwhile to take on at this point personally, but I could absolutely be wrong on that because in the same way that I think it could be beneficial to taking Greenland as a U.S. territory, again, maybe not as a state, but I just don't also, like, as much as I see, like, problems, like, culturally and, like, even just, like, with their economic input, how much Canada would bring to the table, I do think over enough time it will undoubtedly be a positive for the United States. I just don't see any time going back in our history where we've expanded our territories and it's been for the worse. And I do think there's something to be said about, like, the way the British Empire went through their colonialism, their expansion, and I think they did spread out way too far. But I think with where we're positioned as a country in North America, like, if we were to limit it to North America and some of the outlying territories, like, Canada, Greenland, some of those island countries, like, I don't think that's bad. Mexico, we'll have to fix some problems there before we enter those discussions. But I guess kind of summed up, I think he's serious about, like, what that would look like, but not serious and, like, we're gonna make that happen and it's gonna be in the form of the 51st state.
Yeah, I would agree.
I could kind of go 50-50 with it.
Yeah, I think he's planted the seed.
Right.
And I think, though this is just my opinion, I think that they're going to slowly start making an argument to the Canadian people. Hey, if you do become a part of the United States, you'll have a more lively economic situation. You'll live better. But I don't think he's actually serious about. I think it's more of a game he's playing. I think they've planted a seed and hope that it grows. I don't see they have any intention in the next 3 years to actually, annex Canada or bring it into the U.S. anyway.
I think he's not serious until there gets to be enough support in Canada, and then it would be a historic moment.
It would.
During his presidency if something like that happened.
Big time.
So if that does happen, I think he's going to be I've been saying it the whole time.
Yeah.
They're going to be the 51st state. I've been saying it since.
He would have to convince the Canadian people, and I'm telling you, my experience, they do not want to be part of the United States.
I think
understanding.
I think there are some. I've
there
heard
are some, but I'm willing to bet you, man, the general consensus, and I don't have any data to back this up. It's just my opinion from being around Canadians and taking a course in college, and I served with the Canadian military, not with them, but I was around them, and I've been around other Canadians as well, and they just don't seem to. They seem to resent the U.S.
I think there's probably
they feel we're a bully.
I think there's probably 60%, if I had to break it down, just totally guesstimating, 60% that you're right, don't want to join the U.S., and then there's probably 30% that do, and I would maybe even say this is larger. Maybe it's 50% that don't want to join, 40% or let's say even 35% that do want to join, and another 15%. And I don't know, I'm getting those numbers wrong, but I think there is a big percentage of in the same way people were afraid of being outspoken of supporting Trump, but clearly he came into
may be the case.
Yeah,
I mean you've got one province of Quebec that has made French the primary language.
Yep.
That's out of defiance to English.
Yep.
So they don't.
They
would rather
identity.
be like France than like the U.S. Anyway, I just wanted to ask that question to you. So let's move on.
France is our oldest ally.
Yes.
Yeah.